I never liked walking late at night, but that Tuesday sleep refused me. I had tossed and turned for hours, staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the apartment, the distant sounds of traffic, and the occasional barking dog. Nothing worked. My thoughts swirled around work, unpaid bills, and the unshakable feeling that something was off. Eventually, frustration won over and I got up. I needed movement, even if it was futile. I stepped into the street, the cold night air biting at my skin. Streetlights flickered lazily above, casting long, wavering shadows that made familiar buildings look alien. My footsteps echoed unevenly against the pavement. I told myself walking would tire me enough to sleep. It should have been a routine walk, familiar and safe. But the night was unusually still. No cars, no distant conversations, not even the rustle of leaves. Every sound I made seemed amplified. Every shadow seemed alive. And then I saw it. A bus stop. It wasn't there yesterday. I walked this street countless times. I knew every corner, every cracked sidewalk, every lamppost. And yet there it was, materializing as though it had always existed but had been waiting for me specifically. Metal frame, peeling paint, flickering neon sign overhead. The bench beneath it was covered in dust, old and worn, like it had been forgotten for decades. The first instinct that shot through me was fear. Something about it screamed wrong. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. I approached the bench. On it lay a small, dusty duffel bag. Atop the bag was a note. For you. My name was written clearly, neatly. Plain block letters, no flourish, no attempt at disguise, just my name. I froze. The street was empty. The faint hum of the neon light was the only sound. I wanted to turn, run home, lock my door, and pretend this never happened. But some primal part of me moved forward. My fingers trembled as I picked up the bag and unfolded the note. No other words, no instructions, no address, just my name. I wanted to open it, I wanted to run, but I wanted to know more. Inside the bag was a single object, a small metal key on a thin chain. Beneath it, another note. Follow the key. I laughed nervously to myself. Very funny. My voice sounded alien in the quiet street. The key felt cold and heavy in my pocket. I should have gone home. Instead, I walked. The moment I stepped away from the bus stop, something shifted. The street itself seemed altered. The houses I knew, familiar brick and siding, appeared warped, corners sharper, shadows darker. Even the streetlights flickered in patterns I hadn't noticed before. I checked my phone. 11:42 p.m. still late, but too early for anyone to be out playing a prank. No signal, nothing. The screen flickered and dimmed. Panic started to creep in. I heard footsteps. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. I started again, walking faster. The street ahead twisted into alleys I had never seen, dead ends where there shouldn't be, and dark doorways staring at me like empty eyes. Every instinct screamed to run, but I found myself following some invisible trail. My curiosity had become compulsion. I felt watched, always. It wasn't tangible, not something I could point to, but a suffocating pressure at the edge of my perception. Shadows moved too fluidly, too purposefully. I told myself it was paranoia, exhaustion, the product of a sleepless night. But deep inside, I knew better. The key burned against my skin. I took it out again, examining it. Ordinary, yet significant. A small weight of inevitability pressed against me. It would fit somewhere. It had to. And then I saw a door. Old metal, rusted edges, unmarked. No signage, no lights, just a single door standing impossibly in the middle of a narrow alley. I approached. The key fit perfectly. The lock turned smoothly as if it had been waiting for me. A narrow staircase descended into darkness beyond the door. I froze. The rational side of me screamed to leave, to run, to call someone, anyone. But a darker, reckless part, the curiosity, the obsession, urged me on. I descended. The air was damp, smelled of rust and dust. My footsteps echoed. Somewhere below, I thought I heard movement that didn't belong to me. Halfway down, I paused. The echo of my own breathing sounded louder than the faint whispering of the dark. "You're here." I spun, heart hammering. Nothing, just shadows stretching impossibly along the stairwell. I pressed on, sweat pricking my brow. My mind conjured shapes, sounds, faces, anything to explain the unease. The stairs ended at another metal door. Faint light spilled from the crack beneath it. I pushed it open. The room was a strange, distorted office. Plastic-covered furniture, papers scattered like a chaotic storm, photographs pinned to walls with strings connecting them in an elaborate web. Every object felt carefully placed, yet random. In the center of the room sat a figure, back turned to me, silence heavy and deliberate. I stepped closer, my hand shook. "Hello," my voice cracked. The figure turned slowly. The face was unrecognizable yet familiar, like someone from a half-remembered dream. The eyes were hollow, black, infinite. "You followed," the figure said, voice calm, unnervingly controlled. "Exactly as you were meant to." I wanted to run. My legs refused, my throat dry, hands cold. Who are you?" The figure smiled, or at least suggested one. "I've been watching, waiting. You've always been curious. You always follow." Every instinct screamed, "Run!" But something stronger, something inexorably magnetic held me there. The bag appeared again inexplicably. I opened it, another key, another note. "Do you want to leave?" I held the key tightly, mind racing. Escape, or deeper in. The figure's gaze was unbearable, silent yet demanding. I realized then, this wasn't about a key or a bag or a stairwell. This was about me, my curiosity, my need to follow instructions, my obsession with understanding. The figure wasn't a person. It was a test. I took the key. The door I entered through had vanished. New doors appeared, leading to corridors I hadn't seen before. Each step deeper was guided, calculated, yet terrifyingly random. Sounds came from impossible directions, whispers, footsteps, scratching noises. I tried to orient myself, but the space was a labyrinth, ever-shifting, impossible to map. Memories surfaced unbidden. Childhood moments of following rules, obeying authority, curiosity punished by accidents. Every small lesson replayed in my mind, sharpened to a blade of self-doubt. I wondered if this was a dream, a psychotic break, or something worse. Hours passed, or minutes. Time lost meaning. I found photographs pinned to walls, myself, places I knew, moments I couldn't explain seeing captured here. Strings connected them in patterns that seemed meaningful, yet I couldn't decipher. The figure's presence was everywhere, unseen yet palpable. At one point I stumbled upon a door labeled exit. Relief surged. I inserted the key, turned it, and the door opened to another room, identical to the previous, yet subtly different. Another key waited, another note. "Follow." I realized that escape wasn't an option. I was trapped in a game, a loop designed to exploit every ounce of curiosity, fear, and obsession I possessed. I sat on a chair, exhausted, shaking. My thoughts circled endlessly. Could I leave? Would following the keys lead me to safety or deeper into the labyrinth? Every rational thought screamed stop. Every irrational impulse screamed go. I took the key. The figure appeared, impossibly calm, eyes unreadable. "You always follow, that is your nature." I knew it was true. Every step I had taken tonight, every choice I had made, had been dictated by curiosity and compulsion. The figure wasn't a captor. It was a mirror, showing me the consequences of following blindly, of always needing to know, always needing to act. I stood, key in hand. The path ahead was uncertain. Perhaps I would escape. Perhaps I would descend further into this controlled chaos. Perhaps the keys were infinite, the labyrinth endless, and the figure eternal. Curiosity is a dangerous thing. And some doors, once opened, cannot be ignored. I took the next step,